Hello, how is everyone doing? It is your fallen angel back with another video. Today, we are unraveling this ideology of everyone wearing a mask. And now, when I start that and say everyone's wearing a mask, I don't necessarily mean face mask or COVID mask to protect against that. I'm talking about the personas people live under, the onions, the layers underneath. So, let's just begin what this means. So, for the most part, everyone has about four masks. For some, there might be more. Six, seven, eight, there might be more masks. But let's start off on what these masks are and why these people wear these masks. Everyone wears these masks. The first mask is the mask you wear when you're around your friends. When you're around your friends, you're a different person. You feel more comfortable. There's less judgment, less bias. You feel free to be exactly who you are. This intrinsically is one of the masks. The next mask is the mask you wear at work, right? This is a different mask. Not necessarily that you may not have friends here, but we understand that the people you work around, your coworkers and friends, or that you call friends, are not necessarily friends. Everyone in this is in there for themselves, and they're just trying to survive and get past another day, right? You're all there for a currency to essentially survive. So the mask you wear at work may be different from the mask you wear with your friends, right? You may be a little bit more discreet. You may be more closed off. You may hide certain biases to ensure that you can continue to work this job. This is another mask. Then another mask you have, the third mask, is the one you have with your family, right? It's a more authentic version of yourself. They see more of your flaws. They know you for who you are. They have more experience with you. Their hippocampus has embedded more memories with you. So it's a much more closer version of who you are under that mask. This is also another mask, the family mask. Then finally, the fourth mask is your authentic self, who you really are under that mask. Your true divine self, the person that is within the subconscious, the person that you are when you go to sleep at night and you're alone with your thoughts. This final mask is who you really are. Now, the reason we're talking about these masks is to understand that everyone in society is wearing a mask, right? Whether this be for cynical purposes or for whatever purposes it may be, whether it's narcissism, Machiavellianism, psychopathy, just self-interest, cynicism, whatever it may be, everyone has a mask. Now, it is important to understand that everyone has a plethora of masks depending on where they are, depending on who they're with. This mask ideology explains a lot of human nature. It explains a lot of how humans operate with one another. This explains why we do things and why we say certain things and why we feel the way we do with certain company. Because it's a mask, right? It's a facade people put out. It's a facade people are putting out because intrinsically it comes down to a little bit of fear. It comes down to fear because they don't want to show their true authentic self, because they may be in fear of loss of friends, a fear of unacceptance from family, a fear of losing a job. And this is not a bad thing. This is intrinsically how most people are operating. They're operating with their mask on. You know, like Future said, mask on, mask off. People are operating with this mask on. Now, we're not talking about COVID-19 masks. This is a whole different concept. This is a physical plane mask. We're talking about the astral plane, the soul, who you are inside, this persona you put on for the outside world. These masks that people wear are simply for self-interest, right? How they act with their friends is one mask. How they act with their family is another mask. And how they act when they're all by themselves and they have these thoughts creep up on them. No drugs and no alcohol and no amphetamines. Just who they are at the end of the day. That is the final mask. Which is not a mask at all. It is your true shell. It is your true identity, right? And a lot of people are scared for people to see this final shell of themselves. They're scared of people to know who they really are. They're scared to let the world know who's really under that mask. Does it ever get boring? Does it ever get lonely? Does it ever get fearful, thinking about letting people know who you really are? Do you ever get tired of putting on this facade of being fake or being someone you're not, just to set a certain ideology, just to fit a certain norm, just to please everyone else? This is all part of the mask theory. This Japanese mask theory, in essence, it explains how we all are wearing a mask. We all, as humans, are like onions. Like Shrek said, we are all like onions. You have to peel back the layers to find out who we really are. And as human beings, we have many, many layers. The outer layers that people see in the physical plane, what we believe in ourselves in the solar plane, even the astral plane, or what we actually believe in ourselves as, and what we think we're portraying to the world, or what we think we are trying to portray to the world. But these masks, they stem from a lot of fear. A lot of people are scared. They're scared of disapproval. They're scared that they won't be accepted. They are scared that they won't be applying to normative behavior, right? Because a lot of people, they're scared of being the black sheep. That's a big fear for a lot of people. Being a black sheep is something they don't want to be labeled as. It's something they don't want to go through. They don't want to be ostracized from the group. So they put on this mask. They put on this facade. They put on this show, this personality of someone who they're really not, to appease people they don't even really like. So my question is, what is your mask? Who are you under your mask? Under your plenty of masks, who are you really? Are you the summation of the mask you wear? Or are you the person under that mask that no one sees? Do you think when everything dissipates and when the world is finally done in your mini universe, when you finally come to an end, when you finally meet an end, and you leave this physical plane and enter the astral plane fully, what did these masks mean to you? What did these masks do for you? What did this show for your legacy? What did this show for your courage? What did this show for your bravery? Being your unauthentic self. Now, this is not an attack at anyone, because we understand that this is how most people are operating. Most people are operating with a mask on, whether this be for protection or fear. They're operating with a mask on. My question is, at what point do you feel you want to be free? At what point do you want true freedom? At what point do you let people know your true, authentic self? Without fear of judgment, without fear of ostracism, without fear of anything. When do you let people know who you really are? This mask ideology is much deeper than just a showmanship that you show for your friends, or you show for your family, or you show for yourself, or you show at the workplace. Like I said, guys, many people could put on different masks for different occasions because they're completely working off self-interest, right? Now let's explain a car salesman, right? Now while a car salesman may not be a bad human being or like have a bad interest for the person, they have a mask on as a salesman. They need to make this sale, okay? This is part of their job. This is one of the masks that they have to put on. Maybe this guy's a loving guy at home. He's a good father, etc., etc. But while he's at work, he's got to put on this salesman mask, right? It's one of the masks he's got to put on in order to make this sale, right? He's got to be a shark. Even though maybe at home he's a nice sheep or a nice little bear for his family. He's got to put on this mask while he's at work. The question comes to, what's the difference between adapting to your external stimuli versus being your authentic self no matter where you are? Now, in this cosmos, you can find a lot of beauty. You can find a lot of people that know how to use their words perfectly. They know how to use words to their advantage, which is good. You should know how to use your words to get what you want. Words are beautiful, but authentic people are rare. People who truly, truly are authentic, genuine to who they are, in and out, not being cynical, is rare. This is a rarer trait than any of the masks you could put on. Being adaptable is great. Being enigma is great. Being a chameleon in your surroundings, which most people are chameleons depending on what they are and who they're around. They can be a chameleon. They can adapt to what they are. They can say things and portray things like virtue signal who they really aren't for acceptance. But what does that really say about who you are? It doesn't say anything more than you're scared. You're scared of not being yourself. And this may be the biggest injustice and the biggest crime to your soul, is not being who you really are. And then later on, when you're alone by yourself, having these thoughts of, why did I do that? Or why did I do certain things to just fit in? When I could have just been my authentic self, and all these things would have came to me. The people that truly wanted to stick around would have stuck around. The things that I would have wanted to do would have been done. The opportunities that should have been coming my way would have came, because this is my authentic self. I would not feed into any other narrative. So guys, this is the mask ideology. The Japanese mask ideology of how everyone subconsciously wears a mask depending on where they are, who they're with, and what's going on around their stimuli. Feel free to leave a comment down below on what other masks you think people wear, why they wear them, and if you have a mask on right now. Also, like and subscribe. Check us out on Patreon, Rumble, Twitter, Instagram, things of that nature. This was your fallen angel, and I am out.